Right now, you can say the top 5 strongest of all time in Kengan includes Shen Wulong, Shen Luhan, the grandfather of Gai Mukaku, Kuroki Gensai, Gai Mukaku himself, and then anyone else you may be able to include. For example, Tokita Nico, Tokita Oma, Kure Ryan, Gilbert Wu, Yan, Kano, and maybe even some others as well. And most of these connect to and relate to Wulong, which is absolutely insane. With us currently getting the highest level fight of all time, Wulong vs Luhan and the Tiger Nico as well, where the connector for the first time in the current day is throwing a punch with the intent to kill, meaning this is potentially serious Wulong, with it being very possible that the previous time something like this occurred was against Gai Mukaku's grandfather. Regardless, we see here that Luhan was able to counter and seemingly awaken, growing in power after getting access to some of Wulong's memories, and pretty much solidifying himself as the second strongest of all time in the Kengan story. At least many people are coming to that conclusion. Something else that also needs to be mentioned about the connector himself, it seemed like bro had ultra instinct throughout this chapter. It's hard to even explain the tier of power he's at when you consider this moment on screen right now. But let's get into a quick breakdown of the possible current top 10 strongest. So number 1, I think most of us can agree that Shen Wulong is him. If you disagree, you're just wrong. Simple as that. But after that, the interesting discussion begins. You can say as it currently stands, Shen Luhan could be number 2, regardless of people's belief that he's going to be defeated and killed by Wulong here. Something I agree with, but Luhan at the current day, due to the memories, is probably second strongest. I don't like it, I don't like him, but being objective, it's likely the case. Kano is top 5 for sure? Maybe, but definitely not guaranteed. I don't think Nico is top 5 unfortunately. I potentially disagree, but we'll get into that. Number 3 is where it gets complicated. You can make an argument for like 6 or so characters. So who would you guys place in third place? Ryan at third? I say Kuroki or Yan. Those are 3 possibilities, that's true. I'll break it down like this. So I will say it's a possibility that the Tiger Nico is the third strongest. Yes, bro's on Fraud Watch right now, getting destroyed in seemingly every moment, but of course, this is by Wulong of recent. Every other character will seemingly get destroyed by him to a same degree. His fight against Kiryu, people tend to just hate on his performance. It was very clear at the start of the fight that bro was messing around to a higher degree, and then Kiryu's unpredictable nature with the Koei, Nico and Gar style combinations were quite insane. And then when he suffered some major damage, he locked in and off-screen Kiryu. I feel as though a lot of people in the fandom don't rate Kiryu properly, I guess. Particularly when it's important to note, Kiryu's main defeats throughout the series was one against Kuroki Gensai, who we know was him during Kengan Ashura, and also had the knowledge of the Koei style due to being friends with Genzan, so a huge advantage in that regard. And then Kiryu lost against Oma when post Kuroki fight while going schizo. And with that said as well, Oma literally had to use the Demon's Bane on him. And then most importantly, while not to the insane degree Luhan's being buffed by it, Nico has seen some aspects of the memories which will be resulting in some growth. So he's possibly the third strongest. This is outside all the narrative and him being set up as the main villain, all that stuff. Kuroki Gensai, as a lot of you guys already commented in the chat, I think him coming in third is good to say. This connects to his, of course, Shen Wulong performance. while Shen Wulong wasn't using any techniques and using half of his body during that fight, Kuroki was also confirmed not to be going all out. And then after that fight, Wulong just outright says Kuroki is pretty much the closest to what he wants right now, which is of course an equal, so placing Kuroki in third is fair. The Yan situation is interesting as we haven't seen much from him. Fighting wise, we've seen him clash with Kano Gito and not have any problems at all. While very brief, he took no damage and had no trouble fighting Kano, while focusing more so on what Shen Wulong and Kuroki were doing, and also thinking about who potentially betrayed them, and working it out quite quickly that it was Lu Han. And since we know Yan's flashback and that he was chosen as the head of the worm when he was young by Wulong himself, it's likely the case that Yan has been trained by Shen. And you've already seen what like a 5-minute training session can result in people like Koga and Oma from Shen. So imagine like 15 years of being alongside Wulong. So the possibility for Yan is immense. He could be the third strongest. He's shown the confidence to threaten Gilbert. He's had the desire and confidence to kill Lu Han on multiple occasions. While that isn't the current Lu Han with the memory buff, it does show that Yan is insanely capable and could be the third strongest. Apart from that, we of course have Gilbert Wu, outright confirmed as stronger than Edward Wu, so him being the third strongest would set up the Kure clan and the Wu clan as just still being them. He is the main villain for Kure Ryan, of course. So Gilbert very possibly could be the third. There is a theory out there that his rejuvenation type thing that he used against Howard could be a form of regeneration, maybe? That's also a possibility rather than just getting memories back or something like that. We know since Kure Ryan returned, he's kinda going down the path in a similar sense to the Connector. You know, the whole principle aspect getting developed. He's likely going to defeat Gilbert when they do fight, whenever that is. It's important to note the characters after like Wulong will likely all be in the same tier. Something else enhancing Ryan's likeliness to be on the higher end of like the top 10 or maybe even 3 is pretty much being portrayed as slightly above Oma since the start of Kengan Omega and maintaining that position. But of course, another character that could be third right now is the one getting built up the most, Tokita Oma. He's had his recent Kuroki Gensai training. He's had his recent sparring matches with other top tiers. He's being set up as the main one that has the chance to fight Shen Wulong. Wulong considers Oma the one he has the most hope for, in the sense saying, out of all the Kengan fighters, including Kuroki, Kano and the others, Oma has the most potential to give him what he wants, a fun fight and equal in a sense. So Oma's stock's at the highest level it's probably ever been, outside of literally just being a clone of Wulong as well, which gives him a genetic advantage over seemingly everyone else, which is what we're kind of seeing right now with Lu Han being able to handle Wulong's memories more than like the Tiger Nico, likely being a genetic factor. So Oma at third is possible. The top 3 would go Shen Wulong at number 1, Lu Han at number 2, I'll say Kuroki Gensai at number 3, as still after 300 chapters plus of Kengan Omega, bro hasn't done anything that has removed any aura. His one main fight or little clash against Shen Wulong showed Kuroki as outright stronger than Mukaku. You can argue some wacky stuff, but I think most people have come to the conclusion that Kuroki is indeed stronger than Mukaku. And then other characters like Oma and Kano still wanting to fight Kuroki, likely solidifies his placement at, number 3. Number 4, I will say the Tiger Nico. While as it currently stands, he's getting kind of shit on, but most people will be shit on by Wulong. His potential in the future is definitely larger. He now has access to the memories, and I think most people can agree Nico won't be dying during this fight. He'll be one of the few people, or potentially outside of him and Luhan, he'll be the one walking away by the end of this. Wulong, most people are predicting, will walk out alive naturally, but Luhan dying is a very high possibility. So Nico's future is definitely more bright. And of course, we have his character profile, which I might as well pull up right now to remind everyone what it says. So if you read the second paragraph here, although he possesses considerable physical strength, his primary skill lies in manipulating people's emotion. As seen with Fei Lutian, Bro's number 1 manipulator. Currently, he is regarded more as a guest than a strict subordinate of the Connector, positioning him as an equal in the future, which will be explored later in the story. So, Nico's stocks are definitely on the higher end. And with this memory buff, I think you can say he comes in at rank 4. Now, number 5 is between Oma, Yan, Gilbert, Ryan, and Kano Agito. I'll say Kano's recent performance of defeating Julius, Lolong, and Galang in the same day within the same tournament was insanely impressive. We all can agree with that. But does he have more pushing him forward, narratively speaking, than current Oma and current Ryan? I wouldn't necessarily say so, but with that said, most of these guys in the top 10 are in the same tier. The only ones I would rank a tier higher is Wulong and maybe Luhan, but definitely Wulong. So Wulong would be in like double S, and then these other 9 fighters would be in like S tier. You could place Kuro Ryan in, fine, Drew to having the continued narrative of being slightly above Oma, but it's more so they're around the same. Gilbert, due to being the big bad for Ryan, could be stronger currently, which would maybe put him above Oma as well. And then all the Yarn stuff you can argue. I'll say Oma at 5th, due to more stocks being invested in him currently. I'll say Kuro Ryan at 6, Gilbert, as I believe Ryan will defeat Gilbert shortly. Then I'll say Yarn, due to the unknown. Then like Gilbert, Kano, and then the remaining top tiers of the Kengan Association outside of the top 10. Wakatsuki, Galang, Jirota, Lolong, those fighters. The characters officially part of the Kengan Association. The top 5 would have to be Kuroki, Ryan, Oma, Agito as the top 4, like confirmed. 99% of the fan base kind of has to agree with that. But then 5th place could be Lolong, Galang, or Wakatsuki. I think Jirota has kind of lost a chance to be placed in there. Galang, while yes, being the one to defeat Jirota in the tournament, did lose to Kano. And I would say Kano and Lolong's fight was closer than Kano and Galang's fight. So I would rank Lolong higher. But then Wakatsuki has the, recent return, looking better than ever before, and destroying a previous Fang with no trouble at all, which is impressive. So I would say, all things considered, Lolong probably comes in 5th.